How do you spot a millionaire? Most people hunt for the wrong things: the watch, the car, the label on the sunglasses. Real wealth almost never announces itself that loudly. And the flashier someone looks, the better the odds their money is borrowed. It is the quiet ones, the almost boringly normal ones, who tend to be sitting on real net worth. Nearly 24 million Americans are millionaires, and they hide better than you think. Here are 9 small giveaways of the wealthy person hiding on your street. There are close to 24 million millionaires living in the United States right now, roughly 1 in 11 American adults. So on an ordinary block, the odds are strong that at least one household is quietly sitting on a 7-figure net worth. And it is almost never the household you would guess. When Ramsey Solutions surveyed more than 10,000 millionaires, the results embarrassed nearly every assumption we carry around. 79% received no inheritance at all. Only 3% inherited $1 million or more. And 8 in 10 grew up in families at or below middle income. These were teachers, engineers, accountants, and small business owners who did unglamorous things over a long stretch of time and let quiet math do the rest. The pattern was first mapped decades ago by researcher Thomas Stanley in his book The Millionaire Next Door. His most quoted line is that 3 words describe the affluent: frugal, frugal, frugal. Stanley reduced the whole idea to a single line that reframes everything. Wealth is not the same thing as income. If you earn a good living and spend all of it, you are not getting wealthier. You are just living well for the moment. Number 1. Look at the car in the driveway and how long it has been sitting there. The single most reliable place people broadcast fake wealth is the vehicle, and the single most reliable place real millionaires stay invisible is that exact same vehicle. Stanley found that most millionaires are not driving this year's model. More than a third buy their cars used outright. More than half are driving something at least 2 years old. And only a minority ever choose a foreign luxury brand. The typical millionaire pays only a few $1,000s more for a car than the average American does, then holds onto it for a decade because a car is a tool, not a trophy. Think about someone I will call Farah, who owns a small heating and cooling company and drives a pickup truck with 140,000 miles on it, not because she cannot afford better, but because it runs perfectly and has been paid off for years. 2 doors down, a younger couple rotates through a freshly leased European sedan every 3 years. If you had to bet which household was worth more than $1 million, the instinct is to point at the sedan. That instinct is usually wrong. A leased luxury car is a monthly payment wearing an expensive costume. And the moment the payments stop, so does the car. A paid-off truck that has been faithfully maintained is a decision to own instead of impress, repeated across every big purchase in a life. Number 2. Check the wrist and the everyday clothes. Because the wealthy almost never wear their money. Half of the millionaires Stanley surveyed had never paid more than $399 for a suit, never spent more than $235 on a wristwatch, or more than $140 on a pair of shoes. And the single most common watch brand among American millionaires was Seiko. Some people are what you might call income statement rich, meaning their lifestyle looks impressive only as long as the paychecks keep flowing. Others are balance sheet rich, meaning they own things outright and owe almost nothing. The wealthy person on your street simply does not feel the itch to signal, because they already own the one thing the signaling is meant to fake. Number 3, look at the house, then widen your view to the whole neighborhood. According to Ramsey's study, more than half of American millionaires live in a neighborhood where the average household income is below $75,000 a year. Minus 1 out of 10 live in a home valued under $500,000. Nearly a third live in a zip code where home values sit below the national median, and 95% own their home rather than rent. Though it is rarely the mansion the movies promised, Stanley found that the typical millionaire lives on less than 7% of their net worth each year, which is only possible when housing costs are low and stable rather than crushing. A typical millionaire household today holds a net worth well over $2 million, and you would still never guess it. Standing at the curb, Stanley also found that 90% of millionaires in homes worth under $300,000 described themselves as extremely satisfied with life. They had simply understood that a home is where your money goes to sit still, and your investments are where it goes to grow. Number 4, notice who never talks about money, because silence is one of the loudest signals of all. Stanley loved an old Texas saying, "Big hat, no cattle," describing someone wearing every outward marker of wealth while owning almost nothing underneath. The genuinely wealthy simply do not perform their finances for you. They consistently rank financial independence above social status. The neighbor who is always narrating their next big purchase is often the one under the most silent financial pressure, while the person who seems almost boringly uninterested in the status game is frequently the one with real security underneath. There is even a name for this: stealth wealth, a deliberate choice. The wealthy learn early that visible money invites requests and envy, so they quietly enjoy the freedom of being underestimated. Number 5, find out what they actually do for a living, because the wealthy are hiding inside the least glamorous jobs on the block. The top careers among the millionaires in Ramsey's study were engineer, accountant, teacher, management, and attorney, with only 15% ever holding a senior leadership title. Stanley found that an enormous share of the self-made wealthy owned plain, unexciting businesses, a scrap metal yard, a pest control route, a small chain of dry cleaners. He split people into 2 camps: prodigious accumulators, who build far more wealth than their income would predict, and under-accumulators, who earn a lot yet keep almost none of it. Consider 2 people, both 50 years old, both earning right around $90,000 a year. One runs a mobile home dealership and has quietly built a net worth of well over $1 million, more than double what her income alone would predict. The other is an attorney, whose net worth sits closer to $200,000, because the income funds an upper-middle lifestyle that swallows every raise. Same age, same paycheck. And one is genuinely wealthy while the other only looks the part. Number 6, watch how they invest, because real wealth is built on habits that are almost aggressively boring. 8 in 10 of the millionaires in Ramsey's study built their fortune through an ordinary workplace for 101K, and 3 in 4 also invested outside their company plan. Not a single millionaire in that entire study credited their success to a hot stock or some opportunity they could not pass up. $500 a month invested steadily at 8% grows to roughly $745,000 over 30 years, even though you personally only put in $180,000 of your own dollars. Everything above that compounding doing the heavy lifting while you sleep. By early 2026, around $645,000 Americans had crossed $1 million inside their 401k alone, according to Fidelity, while the average retirement balance was about $141,000, and the median account, the one belonging to the person standing right in the middle, held only about $32,800. A small group of steady contributors pulls that average way up, and everyone else is much further behind than they realize. Here is a test from Stanley's work you can run tonight. Take your age, multiply it by your yearly income before taxes, then divide by 10. Whatever you land on is roughly the net worth you should have if you are keeping pace. A 41-year-old earning $85,000 a year should be worth around $348,000. Land at double that figure and you are a prodigious accumulator. The millionaire next door in the making. and landed half of it or less, and your income is leaking out the bottom faster than it comes in the top. Number 7. Pay close attention to what they owe. Because the wealthy are strangely allergic to debt, they pay cash or something close to it for their cars. Their credit cards get cleared in full every single month, and their mortgage is something they attack and eliminate rather than refinance into forever. Think of a retired school teacher I will call Loretta, who never earned a large salary but never once carried a balance. She paid off her modest house in her early 50s and quietly redirected every dollar that used to go toward the mortgage straight into investments. For the next 15 years, Loretta is a millionaire today, and not one person in her congregation would ever guess it. The wealthy simply refuse to rent their lifestyle from a lender. Number 8. Study their spending habits up close. Because the small daily choices give them away completely. Being cheap means being unwilling to spend at all. Being frugal means being deliberate about it, spending freely on what genuinely matters and calmly ignoring the rest. As of June 2026, the average American was saving just 2.7% of take-home pay, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, while the wealthy consistently invest 15 to 20% of what they earn. Year after year, someone earning $75,000 who saves. The national average tucks away around $2,000 a year. Someone earning that same $75,000 who saves 15% tucks away more than $11,000. Identical paycheck, 5 times the wealth being built. They are even careful about where idle cash sits. While most people leave savings in an account paying 0.1%, the financially awake keep theirs somewhere, paying closer to 4%, turning $10,000 from about $1 of yearly interest into roughly $400. Number 9. Look at their grown children. Because this last giveaway plays across an entire generation, Stanley named the steady stream of money flowing from well-off parents to their adult children economic outpatient care, and found it quietly backfires almost every time. The adult children who receive the most tend to accumulate the least, because a constant subsidy trains them to consume rather than build. There is an old saying for how fast unearned money disappears. Shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. The genuinely wealthy usually invest heavily in their children's education, then fully expect those children to stand on their own 2 feet. So one of the subtlest signs of a real millionaire is a grown son or daughter who is visibly self-sufficient, working an ordinary job, clearly not being propped up. So the next time you walk down your own street, look past the leased car and the loud renovation, and look instead for the paid-off truck, the Seiko, the modest house lived in for decades, the neighbor who never once mentions what anything costs. That person cracked a code that has almost nothing to do with a giant salary and almost everything to do with a daily gap between earning and spending. Tell me in the comments which of these 9 giveaways describes someone you actually know, or maybe describes you.